Yo guys, Pinkward here, and I wanted to introduce the new champion to you guys, Hwei the Visionary. Hwei is the new Ink Mage coming out and is planned to be a high complexity mid lane mage with 10 abilities. Each of his abilities can be comboed with another one to create a new spell. Hwei's abilities can be casted by tapping the first spell school, then the second spell school. Casting the spell school with R will wash Hwei's brush, clearing his paintbrush and returning to base abilities without using mana or cooldowns. The Q spell school is called Disaster. It focuses on damage. QQ, Devastating Fire. Hwei casts a blazing fire that explodes on contact or at the end of its range to the first enemy hit, dealing % max HP damage to all. QW, Severing Bolt, strikes the ground with a powerful lightning attack at a great distance. It deals more damage to isolated or immobilized targets based on missing HP. QE, Molten Fissure, paints a fissure that erupts in lava in a line, dealing damage over time and slowing. Hwei's W spell school is called Serenity. It focuses on utility. WQ, Fleeting Current. Launch a line forwards that lingers, giving allies movement speed. WW, Pool of Reflection. Paint a pool in an area to shield allies and yourself over time. WE, Stirring Lights. Enchant the next 3 autos or abilities, doing more damage and restoring mana. If all 3 orbs are consumed, it's a net positive for mana. The E spell school is called Torment. It focuses on control. EQ, Grim Visage. Launch a moving, scary face that damages and fears the first enemy it hits. EW, Gaze of the Abyss. Paint an eye at a location which fires a root at the nearest enemy. EE, Crushing Maw. Creates a set of jaws that grasp outwards and pulls enemies towards the cast point. Hwei's passive is Signature of the Visionary. Each time Hwei damages an enemy champion, he marks them for a few seconds. Damaging them with a second spell detonates the mark and puts an AoE on the ground, damaging all enemies. Hwei's R is Spiraling Despair. Hwei launches a vision of pure despair that sticks to an enemy champion for a few seconds. The vision expands and overwhelms all enemies it touches, dealing magic damage per second. Enemies within the zone are afflicted with stacks of despair over time. Each stack of despair applies a stacking % slow. Upon completion, the vision shatters, dealing magic damage. Crushing Maw is an incredibly useful tool to use to set your jungler up when they're ganking. Cast it to pull the enemy towards your jungle, closing the gap between the two. When it comes to laning, the Disaster spell school looks to be the most obvious for poke, as it focuses on damage, but the Torment spell school sets you up in most scenarios for your damage abilities and for triggering your passive. You'll most likely want to take all 3 spell schools, as Stirring Lights allows for you to satiate the mana hungry cost of your early game abilities. Casting one of the spell school abilities locks you out of the others of the same school. So Hwei comes with a lot of decision making. He's a champion that will take quick thinking to find the most viable combo of abilities to use in each scenario. When moving into the mid game, it might feel satisfying to continue to use the Serenity spell school on Stirring Lights for maxing out damage. But once you have mana items, your options open up, as it might be better for you to cast Fleeting Current to help your team initiate on targets you may have caught out with Gaze of the Abyss or Spiraling Despair. Hwei is a long-range caster that has many tools to damage enemies from afar. While lacking in mobility, he makes up for it with his high amounts of self-peel through Grim Visage, Molten Fissure, and even Spiraling Despair if needed. While he has strong combo potential, he's also great at poke options in Devastating Fire or Severing Bolt and Gaze of the Abyss combos. Make sure to utilize his passive as often as possible, as it can be a huge damage increase, especially when your enemies are stacked up. Hwei's ultimate becomes a huge teamfight annoyance for the enemy team. The stacking slow makes it incredibly easy for Hwei to combo the rest of his kit upon the singular target, forcing them to flash away, most likely into their team, or die in a singular rotation. Being flexible when playing Hwei is the best way to optimize his play. Hwei has a ton of options for what he can do in a team fight. He's a champion that can get his team into an advantageous scenario while safely playing far in the backline. He can set himself up for large combo potentials or help his team catch enemies out before key objectives spawn. Thank you guys for watching the video. Hopefully you guys enjoy Hwei when he's out on the PBE and on live. Much love guys, and have a good one. Peace.